What's happening, everybody? This is Knife Life 777. I am coming to you today with a follow-up video to my Benchmade Griptilian clone video. I said that I was going to be swapping the blades out and putting a real Benchmade blade on the clone scales. I'm sure some of you out there have wondered, can I swap these parts with these clones? Is it going to work? Obviously, a real Benchmade has a better blade steel than the clone. But nowadays, the clones, the materials that they're using, aesthetically, like, the handle scales and everything are like getting scary sharp, like scary similar. I've seen some Griptilian clone videos where they put them side by side, the real one with the fake, and they are like getting spot on. So here's what I started out with. I bought a real Benchmade Griptilian. I bought the sand FRN scaled version. Paid about 90 bucks for it. I took off the scales. I was looking for better scales than that. I wanted to get something different. And I kept seeing that scales were like 80 to 100 bucks, I couldn't decide. Well, eventually I bought a pair of Caveman aluminum scales. I don't have them here with me. But they were big. Like on the butt end there was like an extra inch added, and it dwarfed the blade. In my opinion, it made the blade look really small, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked. So I thought to myself, well, let me buy a clone, and then I can see if I can swap the blade over to the clone scales. So these are the Benchmade clone scales that I bought, along with the pocket clip that I showed in my previous video, except for I put the real Benchmade blade on them. Now, this thing works perfectly. It is centered. I didn't even try to center it. Just as soon as I put it together, it was perfectly centered. I have no issues with this. The pocket clip is nice and strong. It's not super springy. Now what I did was, first off, I had problems taking the screws off of the clone. They were super Loctited in there. Like, I'm talking like probably red Loctite. So what I did was I microwaved a bowl of water, super hot, and I stuck the scales in there like this into the water and let it soak for a while, and then eventually the screws started coming loose. I did, however, break the end of one of my Torx drivers here, and these are pretty good ones too. I've never had any issues up until then. And as you can see here, there's no screw there. I broke the Torx driver off in there, and then like it just I just kept trying to get it out. Even with the hot water, it it stripped somehow. It would spin, and I think maybe the head of the screw broke or something. I don't know. It felt like it was loosening, but it wasn't going anywhere. So what I did was, I don't have anything here with me. Oh my goodness. I put a drill bit on my DeWalt drill, and I drilled out the screw. Just drilled the top right out, and then I popped the scales off, and that, see, the thread is still stuck in there, but the top is gone. The head of the screw is gone. So this was in here, it's not there now. So what I did was I took a Q-tip. It was blue. It just so happens to be very similar blue. And what I did was I took the cotton off. I jammed it in there where the standoff was. I jammed it through there. It fit perfectly. And then I cut both sides, and then I melted them. I left a little bit up, and then I melted them, so when it melted down, it would spread out and close itself in there. So, but all of the other screws worked out. And this one is just, you know, kind of ghetto put in there, but it works. And that's what matters. Now, here is the clone blade. It's said to be D2. It does feel different than the real blade. Like, it feels lighter. It's identical. Like, I've held it up and analyzed it for a while. Like, I looked at every single angle I possibly could, and to my eye, it seems identical. I have the plastic on it, so I could store it for later or whatever. Or I have the tape on it so I don't get cut, or the package that it's in doesn't get cut. But yeah. So now what I did was I took out the metal liners that was holding the blade, and then inside the scale. These are the clone ones. The parts are identical to the real ones. I do not use the clone ones in these handles. I stuck with the real Benchmade ones. So I swapped out the blade with the liners, and just put them inside here. Everything fit perfectly. There was no issues. The tolerances and everything, it was just everything fits perfectly. The axis lock has zero issues moving. Everything fit down to the T. This is the real Benchmade pivot. Look at that. It's 100% perfect. So yes, it can be done. At least for this Benchmade right here, the Griptilian, you can swap and interchange parts out. It does work, and it works well. These are great G10 scales. I paid, I don't know, like $24 for the knife and $16 for shipping. Yeah, but it was quick shipping, so it came in like 3 or 4 days. So, you know, for about half the price I could have paid for scales, aftermarket scales, I bought great G10 scales. I got extra parts, I got an extra blade, and I got a pocket clip and screws and everything, you know, and it's just great. Everything works perfectly. So it can be done, guys. I hope you liked this video. I hope this was helpful for anybody out there. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer them best I can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.